We are looking at the conflict that erupted about 2 months ago between the Cameroon Football Federation and the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education over the technical staff of the Indomitable Lions, and the conflict reached its peak this week with violent scenes recorded at the Cameroon Football Federation headquarters at Chinga in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. A violent exchange of words between the president of the Cameroon Football Federation, Samuel Etofis, and the technical advisor number 2 to the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Professor Cyril Tolo, and the Belgian football technician appointed head coach of the Indomitable Lions, Marc Brice. And we're looking at the consequences of this on the football image of Cameroon, on the image of the nation as a whole, and of course on the preparation of the Indomitable Lions ahead of their 2 World Cup qualification games against Cape Verde and Angola. We're looking at this at a time when, or after reconciliation, there was reconciliation between the president of the Cameroon Football Federation and the Belgian football technician, Marc Brice, and a technical staff has been made known to the public. A list of technical staff has been made known to the public by the Cameroon Football Federation, and the conflict is now referred to as a buried conflict. But has it been completely buried? This is a question that is yet to be answered. And we are also looking at the momentum around the elections that will be coming up in Cameroon next year. Stay with us and meet our guest in some few seconds. Our first guest is one of the vibrant opposition politicians in the Republic of Cameroon. His name, Jean Denis, president of the Popular Action Party, the PAP. Mr. President, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Babila. It's my pleasure being here. Greetings to my fellow panelists. Greetings to all millions of viewers of my Equinoxe. And a special greeting to all the militants of the Popular Action Party who are bracing up for their upcoming convention in Boya next month, 22nd of June. So I want to send a special gratitude and encouragement to all of them for that wonderful preparatory session in the making. So it's my honor to be here, and I'm happy that we are going to have some exchanges that will go a long way to see how we can strengthen and build our nation for a better Cameroon. So once more, greetings to all Cameroonians of good faith that believe in the rule of law and for a change, for a better Cameroon.
Right, and to my right is one of the outspoken militants of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM political party. He is a communicator of the party. His name, Full Godfred. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Babila, for inviting me once more here in this program, and I think I'm very happy to be here. This is an opportunity for us to discuss about certain things that can make our country move forward.
And right, I begin right away with you. What's your perception of this conflict that has been going on for over 2 months now between the Cameroon Football Federation and the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education over the technical staff of the Indomitable Lions?
If we want to talk about something like that, we have to go back and look at the speech of the head of state on the 11th of February 2024, where he said victories are not an abstract fact. You need a talent, you need an organization, you need to be disciplined. And for that reason, I think if I have to answer a question concerning football, I'll have to precise here that up to date, we don't have any football team in the CPDM as far as our party is concerned. We don't have football, but we are fans of football as all Cameroonians. And for that reason, when you see the head of state, who is the first footballer, reacting, you have to understand that all the Cameroonians are behind him, and we are there to support our national team, a team that have made a name and maybe change a team that have made a name and even changed the image of Cameroon, because
and that speech which you mentioned is where the whole trouble started, when he said that he had given instructions to the government, and more precisely to the Ministry of Sport and Physical Education, as far as the performance of the Indomitable Lions is concerned, because that came after the poor performance of the Indomitable Lions, notably at the last Africa Cup of Nations.
Yeah, I think when he was speaking, he was like, he put everything in place, because, you know, when I talk of to win, you need talent, but beside the talent, you need discipline, you need organization, and you need hard work also. He said that. And when you see all what we were seeing this time around, it was about organization, because they have to reorganize the team before we have victories. And for that reason, I think I'll be very happy because today everything have come back to order.
Yes, but everything has come back to order, even though there are still some skirmishes here and there. But when you saw that conflict as a Cameroonian, the Minister of Sport and Physical Education and his staff on the other side, his collaborators of the ministry on the other side, President Samuel Eto'o, President of the Cameroon Football Federation, and his followers or his collaborators on the other side, conflicting over the staff of the Indomitable Lions. How did you feel as a Cameroonian?
No, you know, I did not want to take it at the level of conflict, but I love to see it in this way, as people who were emotional, and I think instructions have been given to see Cameroon team winning again, and you know, each and everybody who is involved in the action to make Cameroon team come back with victory will always be excited, because if you see, they want something better, and nobody want to think that the other person, what he's giving is what will be making Cameroonians to be happy once more. But if at the end of the day they came back to a consensus, I think that's something that we have to appreciate. And today, if Cameroonians are looking at the same direction, as far as the team is something we have to appreciate. You know, when we are talking, they always said we have 11 players in the field, but the number 12 players is the public, because you discover that the supporters, everybody was like it was a game playing, but at the end of the day, you see how everybody came back into their own situation. Everybody was calm because a solution was found on all what was going on. And
yes,
today,
yes, both parties seem to have arrived a point of understanding. I said seem to have arrived because since the Cameroon Football Federation published the list of technical staff of the Indomitable Lions, there's been no reaction from the Ministry of Sport and Physical Education. But we need to look at the conflict, that what we can call misunderstanding, so to speak, between the two institutions, keenly, in order to avoid such a thing happening tomorrow. So, John Dennis, I'll come back to you shortly. When you see this kind of thing happening in a country, two institutions clashing over the technical staff of the Indomitable Lions, the national senior male team, what's your take on that?
Okay, I would like to first of all say that I know because of fanatism and I can call it fanatism and blind followership. Some people might want to misinterpret what I want to say. I want to say that I have been a fan to Samuel Eto'o as a footballer. I'm a fan to Samuel Eto'o. But when he involved himself in the CPDM politics, there were some issues that we don't agree. Because I know the FECA food presidency that he took over everything was being well calculated by the CPDM regime from the 2G for him to take over. And he has never.
We're talking football.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming, because that's where the conflict comes.
And not about the CPD.
That's where the conflict comes, because you can realize that when Eto became the president of FECAFOOD, many of us are looking at some of these things now, looking at it as if it is not new. The ongoing war between MINICEF and FECAFOOD is not date just of recent. Even in the days of Iya Mohammed, there was one time that the Minister of Sports also took such a decision to place to appoint technical staff, the coach of the football national team A. There's the national team, and if you follow this same Eto office in 2018 in an interview, he said openly that there is no problem. In fact, it is the exclusive right of the Ministry of Sports to appoint a head coach of the national team, whether it's for good or for bad. They have no choice than to succumb. The video is still circulating.
He said it's the Ministry of Sports that is responsible.
He was the one. Eto was the one that confirmed. Yes, he confirmed.
Not appointing. He didn't mention.
Yes, responsible. So, but when you say responsible, means that if they give their go ahead and appoint, because when you say responsible means if they give they endorse any technical staff, be the coach or any of the technical staff, the federation has no choice. But by then, Eto was an opposition to the federation president by then. So it is a whole virtuous circle which everything is just turning around. Now, coming back to this aspect of the conflict, Samuel Eto, he could be right. Maybe he says he's following a text. The ministry says he's following a text. And that is where the whole problem comes. Who is the real political game player here? Is President Paul Biya. Because you realize that this same Samuel Eto it was through the high instructions that he was able to appoint Rigobertson. He said from the high instruction. Remember that this same minister reappointed or renewed the contract of Conceição.
That appointment of Rigobertson came barely.
Yes, he renewed the contract of Conceição. So
to the President of the Republic, we don't see things the same way. And for this, presently, I think he is the President of Cameroon, and he is on his mandate, and he has to see that Cameroonians are happy, are happy everywhere they are, because when there is a victory, you will see, that's where you see the manifestation of the patriotism. You see people coming out with flags. You will see people singing national anthem. You will see people, those who cannot clap, maybe they are using bucket and all the rest.
Yes,
just to tell you that
the issue is that many people see into these happenings as well-calculated plans to exalt the head of state as a good leader, to exalt the head of state as the almighty, so to speak, in quotes. But what do you say about this idea of destruction? Because many are saying that, okay, this thing was just organized, well calculated to distract Cameroonians from the massive registration exercise and more important things in the nation.
Yes, I think it's not today that His Excellency President Paul Biya started managing Cameroon. And we cannot condemn that for the opposition to say, because no matter what you will do, maybe for the well-being of the nation, they will see into it a distraction. I want to think that if today Mr. Njang Dennis, who is the president of a party, who is inspired to become the Cameroon president tomorrow, if he sees this type of thing, by that time they say he is the president of the republic, head of state. He incarnates the unity of the nation. When he sees that, that's what gives happiness to Cameroonians are almost going astray. He has to stay, because if he behaves, they will say no, he wants to distract. There is no distraction. But you cannot ban those who want to see into it distraction, because there is nothing that came to stop what have been going on. I think registration have been going on. People are doing massive registration, as it has been called. But just that there was a sector in Cameroon, that's the sector of sport, especially our big team, that's our national team, that things were not moving well, where the head of state said, we are going to reorganize. And today, I think the party that misunderstood themselves yesterday have understood themselves. And we usually said that we will always disagree to agree. And if today serenity is coming back, I think what we have to be talking here now, we have to talk about the couple matches. That's Cape Verde and Congo.
Yes, that is for football analysts to begin to analyze that one. Now, we are looking at what happened, and that is why I wanted to react now on the impact this can have on the football image of Cameroon, on the image of Cameroon as a whole. There were many reactions many persons expressing astonishment. Barrister Keremuna made public an exchange that he had with one of his friends in another African nation, asking him, but what is happening in your country? So giving a very positive, or a negative perspective or reaction to what was happening. Many were astonished. Should this kind of thing be happening in Cameroon? Fighting over the appointment of a technical staff of the Indomitable Lions?
You have to know that as far as politics, as football is concerned in Cameroon, everybody will always have his point of view. And even it is under that milieu, that issue of football, that you discover that there is no party, there is no CBTM, there is no SDF, there is no PAP. Everybody is Cameroonian. That's why I said it is a unifying factor.
And the unifying factor is dividing us?
I think, I said this, sometimes we must go under a disagreement to agree. And I think Cameroon have not been banned to play. There are countries who at a certain moment have to stop football, maybe to reorganize themselves. But this one was just, we can call it a P phenomenon. That's something that happened just for some few time, and I think serenity came back. Everybody today are looking at the same direction. we saw all of us. We witnessed the conference between Fecafoot and the ministry the other day, and everybody was happy. You saw the president of the Fecafoot asking for excuses to the head coach, and all of them were really happy to meet together to work, because I think it is a group work. It is a group work, and I don't think that we can be divided where we have our joy. And what was happening, you saw the Cameroonians, no religion, no agenda, no age. They were jubilating because they saw that everything came back into order. And I think it is for the goodness of Cameroon and for the victory to come back, because we need to jubilate. We need to jubilate.
We need to jubilate. That is what we are looking at. That is what we are expecting. But in the meantime, John Dennis, when you look at what happened, what is your opinion about the impact of this on the image of Cameroon? Not just the football image, but the image of the nation as a whole. A minister fighting with the federation president over the technical staff of the national team.
I think Cameroon has had worse images than this in the eyes of the international community. What could be that worse for the number of trophies that we have won in corruption? We have been the most corrupt countries in the world, so I think that was really a bad image. What would be that image that would be as worse as seeing a leader, a president, who one time in the conference could not even identify himself where he was and was doubting who were in the hall, and he went on viral. What image can be that worse than a country where we don't have an official air flight, or even that of the president doesn't have an air flight, and half of his ministers are in prison? What image can be that bad of seeing a country where during the COVID-19, we saw the effort of all leaders coming out to see how they could protect their citizens, but our own president was nowhere to be found. And what image can be that worse of more than 180 billion that was donated by the WHO to fight against COVID, and it can never be accounted for? And we saw a stadium that cost hundreds and hundreds of billions, thousands of billions, and till date it is still incomplete. I think we have had worse images than that. As I said, Mr. Etofis is a good legend. I really regret why, with all the popularity, Etofis doesn't need to be in the circle of the CPDM to gain favors. I think we have other legends. Eto is not only the only legend that we have in Africa that we hear of his name. He has allowed himself to be manipulated for political gains. That's why I keep on saying. We have Drogba in Ivory Coast is a legend. And we have other popular legends in Nigeria, Okocha, Kano, and all the like. You don't see them involved in this political mascara on the side of they have always stood on the side of the people. I am a fan. I still repeat, I'm a fan of Eto as a footballer. But when he allowed himself, it is true, he did that also for his own personal glory or own personal objectives, because everything about Fecafoot, like I said,
he's fighting for the football.
No, he's not. You cannot be telling. He's not.
Raise the football.
No, this issue is about personal ego. It's about personal ego, because if you look at even the administration of Samuel Eto'o as a football, there are many scandals that many people reproach him of many uncountable unaccountability of money spent. They want us poor boss that is not there. We have cases of 3 billion or 4 billion that he could not account for. The poor performances of the national team, be it at all category. We have cases of match fixing, voices and all the like. We have cases of clubs not very happy with him, because you know that he's someone that also settles score. He doesn't play in terms of score settling. So he is just like a reflection of the regime.
Now speaking
so now, when I'm talking about the image, yes, the image of Cameroon has always been disastrous. I think someone like Eto'o, the only difference is that he is so popular. His actions add flames to the situation, because he has a lot of international popularity, the days as a footballer, in the days of his football, he has had a very good career. I sympathize with him because he is a youth, and at the moment where we youths are looking on how we could bring change and make this country a rule of law, not where someone is the law. The head of state says, the head of state says. You set down rules and regulation where each and everyone follows. Not that at the end of the day, it's only high instructions. All what we get is the high instructions. Eto himself benefits from high instructions before becoming where he is. Even his appointment, he is also happy. That is not the state of Cameroon that we want. I want to tell Mr. Fu Godfrey here that President Paul Biya don't say football has no religion, no political party. You people have transformed the football, especially the national team, to be something of pro-CPDM affair, or something like a godfatherly approach affair, where this clan is for this clan is for this person. Right in the level of the national team, it has been divided into clans. There are footballers that don't speak with Eto. There are footballers that are for Eto. There are managers that, there was a particular time when the national team performs well, you see people praising the Eto. They don't even give praise again, neither to the coach, nor even to Cameroonians that gave the support. So you see, that syndrome has metamorphosed from Eto, which is the CPDM syndrome, and it is already affecting the football, which he is also a victim of that situation because he gave himself into it for him to be manipulated. The image of Cameroon is really, really bad in terms of football as of now, because when you go to almost all the websites and all the like, everybody is making a mockery of Cameroon in terms of what is happening. But to me, that should not be a situation, because the image of Cameroon is as worse as any other image in terms of the administration, the political setup. Just the fact that we have a president that has been in power for close to 42 years and has hijacked our democracy, and he's using all the institutions within his reach to crack down the opposition. It's an automatical a bad image. Do you know that in the last FENASCO games, I saw during the FENASCO opening, I think it was held in Gaundere. Is it FENASCO or University Games? I don't know. University Games. Do you know players, athletes from the various state or various university matched with the effigy of President Paul Biya, and you are telling me here that sports has no limitation? You go to, I remember when Samuel Eto'o held the last meeting on the Ballon d'Or, or called the best player meeting. He invited Chantal Biya. You follow up on Samuel Eto'o's speech. All his speech was giving praises to President Paul Biya and the wife, how they are the best. They praise that they are there for the nation. They are the ones surviving the national team and so forth. There was one time that they were held, and Madame Chantal Biya sent food through an helicopter as if it was no longer Cameroonians, taxpayers' money taking care of the. They don't transform that same ceremony to be a praise worship ceremony to the president and the wife, not praise appreciating Cameroonians. It is taxpayer money from Cameroonians. President Paul Biya.
What is wrong? What is wrong in appreciating a good deed?
I was trying to.
What is wrong in appreciating a good deed?
You see, some football, as you said, is for Cameroonians. It is our taxpayer. All of us are fans. There is no issue of President Paul Biya is a politician. Now, when you bring him into the scene and giving him a lot of appraisals based on Samuel Eto'o's status,
it becomes very dangerous. But he's also the #1 sportsman in Cameroon.
That's why I'm saying that he has been using football for his personal gains to manipulate Cameroonians, and Eto'o has been that seed, we call that seed, that center of focus, because they know. If you look at it today, do you know, Mr. Babila, that when you criticize Eto'o, we have thousands, millions of fans that come against you. But those same millions of fans that are attacking you for criticizing Eto'o they want a change of this present regime. And Samuel Eto'o, who is someone who the people follow him, and when you criticize him, has been someone that doesn't want their change because he's supporting that regime.
Because of that huge followership, there were speculations that this whole crisis was meant to bring him down, because some were suspecting that
No.
He can come out as a joker in 2025.
That cannot.
And he can become
that cannot be. No, that cannot even be possible because that cannot even be possible because you don't do that when you are in the circle of Bia. All what Eto has. The only error that I blame Eto would have is involving himself in the mess of these guys, these CPDM people. They are not people that as a youth. Eto was already popular.
He's managing the country's football, not mess.
No, he's managing the country's football, but you see what the CPDM government is using him now for their personal interest.
Full Godfred, there were speculations that Eto may come out as a joker in 2025, and reason why some of these things might have been put up or cooked up to destabilize his popularity and things like that. But away from that, those were just speculations. Now, speaking to Equinoxe earlier this week, the Deputy Communication Secretary of the CRM, Tayo Elvis, said that the conflict between the Ministry of Sport and Physical Education and the Cameroon Football Federation was a sign of a failed regime. What do you say about that?
Before I come back to your question, I have to remind Mr. Jean Dennis for certain things. I think I started this program by saying CBDM does not have any football team. Maybe, I don't know, but as far as it's a party where I militated for long time, I've militated inside for a long time, I've never heard about any football team. So when we are talking about football here, we are talking about national team that belongs to all the Cameroonians without I don't know, not to south and east to west. But if he can attribute the team to the CPGM, I don't know.
He didn't attribute the team to
you are compelled.
He said that.
Let me come. Let me to put on the
let me come, Mr. President. He said that you are the leader of your party, and who is the head of state is using football for political gains. That's what he said.
Your precision, the President of the Republic, the head of state, His Excellency President Paul Biya. And whensoever you hear him speaking, he is not speaking as the national president of the CBGM. He is speaking as the president of Cameroon, voted by all the Cameroonians, and he carried the responsibility to see all Cameroonians happy in everywhere they are. I think I precise that. So there is, when you ask about the image of Cameroon, I love to hear the way he was painting. And I think the other day I was talking about patriotism in Cameroon. What history, what are you saying? How do you paint the image of your country to your children? Beginning at home, what do you tell them about your country? And I think that's a president of a party. And when you see him, he can always see what is bad about Cameroon. You know, a program like this, it is viewed everywhere in the world. And you believe that Cameroon is not an island. And today, that the way the world is a global village where everybody will be lobbying to make people come and invest. So now, if you are a president of a party and you deserve, maybe you want to be the president of a country and you paint the same country today like this, I just believe 2025 is coming. Maybe he will be the one that Cameroonians will choose. I don't know how you will sit here and say the same thing. And let me tell you, Cameroon today is not Cameroon tomorrow. And whatsoever you can see, they always said when you hate a dog, you will always see what is bad in him. And I cannot blame him because it's part of slogans. Opposition will always say maybe because they want to inquire what the other person is already having.
But isn't it the role of the opposition to point out the flaws of the regime in power?
That's why I said...
And talking about the conflict being seen as a sign of a failed regime, what do you respond to this when the conflict is referred to as a sign of a failed regime, or a regime that has failed to uphold the image of the country?
You see, most of the time, people will see any movement, they don't see what they do, but like to see what is happening the other way. And that is why some of the time when you talk about CRM, they will always point at what they see that maybe it is not good. They will never show you new routes that are constructed, but they will show you where there are port routes. I think they are in their own role. They are opposition. They are willing to take over power also. So, by the time those who are working, they are doing what they're supposed to do, and they are doing what is in their capacity. And you will not tell me that what is happening, what happened before this resolution inside the FECAFOOT, inside the football in Cameroon. We have been having victories. We have been having victories. And if you see that the head of state decided at one moment to say, no, we should stop, because to gain back victories, we need discipline, we need reorganization, and we need hard work, because today victories are not half-sight. It's not something that you just wake up in the morning because they said you are a Cameroon lion, you are from Indomitable Lions, that you go and win. We are seeing small teams that are coming up, and that is why we need that reorganization. Right. But if a politician can see it the other way, I think for now it is an area that have been reorganized, because I earlier said serenity is back, and I think that's what we need, and tomorrow we need victory.
That's what we need to be well prepared against Cape Verde and Angola. Those are two serious football nations. Let's take a look at what the newspapers reported this week. The press review. We begin the press review with the Guardian Post. Drama at FECAFOOT. Eto'o clashes with Breeze and Minister's envoy. The clash between the president of the Cameroon Football Federation and the technical advisor number 2 to the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Professor Cyril Tolo. And that clash occurred this week at the Cameroon Football Federation. And now The Voice says Eto'o mania, deep rift between stardom and wisdom, referring to how the president of the Cameroon Football Federation, Samuel Eto'o, managed that issue concerning the technical staff of the Indomitable Lions, and the paper sees a deep rift between stardom. Eto'o is a world star, a world football star, and wisdom. And now the Guardian Post, after alleged haute instruction, tough talking Eto'o steps down from high horse. And the paper is simply talking about the reconciliation between the president of the Cameroon Football Federation and the Belgian football technician Marc Breeze. And that reconciliation came after a violent exchange of words. And Cameroon Tribune says, Chris Minsep FECAFOOT, Paul Biya siffle la fin. Paul Biya siffle la fin. Paul Biya blows the final whistle in the conflict between the Cameroon Football Federation and the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education. And that is what brought the reconciliation between the two football officials, the head coach and the president of the Cameroon Football Federation, FECAFOOT. And after that, the list of the technical staff was made public. Now, the Guardian Post, Sports Ministry mute after FECAFOOT releases fresh list of Lions technical team. And as I was saying earlier, after that reconciliatory meeting between the Cameroon Football Federation president and the head coach Marc Breeze, there was a publication of the list of the technical staff of the Indomitable Lions, headed by Indomitable Lions head coach Marc Breeze. Newswatch, Atanganji warns Cabral and Kamto against state rebellion. The Minister of Territorial Administration warning the national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM political party, Professor Maurice Kamto, and the president of the Cameroon Party for National Reconciliation against State Rebellion. And the Guardian Post says after threat on Kamto and Cabral, opposition and civil society descend on Atanganji. Stiff criticism coming upon the Minister of Territorial Administration after what was considered as a threat against Professor Maurice Kamto and Cabral Libi. And the Horizon newspaper says Kamto hits back. Kamto responding to the Minister of Territorial Administration and criticizing the minister for what is considered as threat against opposition politicians. Others consider that as intimidation against opposition politicians in the Republic of Cameroon. Notably, these reactions came after the minister issued a release calling on opposition leaders to avoid dishonoring the head of state and the state institutions that he represents. Cameroon Tribune, conduite du processus électoral. La loi, c'est la loi. Cameroon Tribune says that the law is the law. As far as the electoral process is concerned, the law remains the law and should be respected. And another issue of the Guardian Post says Dr. Christopher Fomunyo is appointed to a new position at the National Democratic Institute for International Affairs, NDI. Apart from his position as Senior Associate for Africa and Regional Director of the Institution for West and Central Africa, he is now the one of the special advisors of the President of the NDI. And that's it for the press review today. Now we continue with our discussion. We are now looking at the upcoming games, the World Cup qualification games against Cape Verde and Angola. What will you tell those managing the national football team, the head coach, the president of FECAFOOT, the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, and every other stakeholder as far as these encounters are concerned, which are very, very strategic, very important encounters as far as Cameroon's future is concerned in the world of football, notably the upcoming World Cup?
I think I will still go back to the speech of the head of state who said we need victories. Cameroon needs victories as before. And I think all those who are guarding the national team today are professionals. They are professionals. We had those misunderstandings, and I want to put it this way, that those misunderstandings were because they want the best for the Lions. And sooner or later, we will have to vibrate again as Lions. And I think today many of the players who were invited to come and play, most of them are already in Yaoundé, and I think this is a good sign to tell Cameroonians that I think we have to play our role as the number 12 player who is the supporter. And you know, any team needs a supporter. If there was a win, maybe a bad wind passing, today comes sun, and the sun should shine so that our national team will get back to his game and play as before. You have to remember that in 1990, that's from the football, Cameroon was see the
mighty indomitable Lions. Yes, John Dennis.
Okay, I want to tell Mr. Godfrey that when they say you have destroyed this national team by politicizing it, you hear his speech whenever he intervenes. The head of state, it means that you as a Cameroonian, the national team doesn't concern you. It's only President Paul Biya. Now, let me come back to your question.
Yes.
Yeah, concern our match that is at stake. But Mr. Babila, I want to say something just a little bit, let Cameroonians understand. Cameroon, why is this aspect of only the attention of Paul Biya, if not of politics. His attention is only on national football. Do you know that Cameroon handball has been suspended, if I'm not mistaken? They have suspended our handball for, I think, which tournament like that? I'm not forgotten. The volleyball has a crisis. There is, I think there was an athlete who is a world-class athlete. I've forgotten his name. Who in the recent Olympic Games came up with a gold medal. Nobody's talking about athleticism. So everything is focused on football and Eto and using and distraction. What I said, this appeal distraction with Eto is an accomplice. So I will never defend.
I get it. That so attention should be given to the other sporting disciplines.
Trying to say is not. It is a political setup which the civilian has been using to distract Cameroonians.
Now let's just leave the politics for a while and look at what should be done so that the team can be
what should be done. Forward. I think and now let me bring myself now as a football fan and a former footballer who has played football at a particular level. I think I am a fan to the national team. I want unity to come back without people putting in their personal ego at the detriment of the entire nation. Let the players. One thing that I love with the present coach, he has brought in some players whom at a particular moment Cameroonians were not very comfortable in their conspicuous absence in the national team. I've seen the likes like the Fire Collins, Nganju, Chupo Moting. I think those are players that we've all. So I think if there is love, let the players, they are all professionals. Let them know that they are playing for Cameroonians.
All right.
They should avoid relying on who is dictating or pulling the stakes. They are not playing for Eto. They are not playing for Samuel Paul Biya. They are not playing for the Ministry of Sport. They are playing to satisfy Cameroonians. So
they are playing for the nation.
The nation. So
now let's get the views. Let's get the views of a sports analyst on the conflict between the Cameroon Football Federation and the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education and the upcoming encounters and what exactly should be done to move Cameroon to where it was before now. Let's take a listen to Raymond Elume.
As a Cameroonian, it's very difficult not to have observed that the recent days there was a lot of tension in the media, especially on social media, concerning the, we'll say, buried conflict between the federation, that's FECAFOOT, and the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education. I think it was a very, very difficult scene to watch on Tuesday when the president of the federation had very harsh words for representatives from the ministry, and I think for the incoming coach, I think it was also a very difficult moment for him not to acknowledge that the boss, the person he has to work in close collaboration with, is the president of the Football Federation. But I think some water, not enough though, has passed under the bridge, and I think it is imperative that now that we've accepted that Mark Bryce, his assistant, Munanga, and then the Cameroonian staff, that's David Pagu, are going to work with the incoming coach, I think it is high time we think about the incoming encounters. That's against Cape Verde and against Angola. Cape Verde at home, according to CAF and FIFA calendar, is going to be on the 8th of June in Douala, and on the 11th of June in Angola, in Luanda. Now, we have to ask ourselves, now that we have already the set names of players who have been called to come, we don't yet have the final list, but I think preparation starts on Monday. Now that we have that list, what becomes of it? The first thing is that the incoming coach has not brought enough sympathy upon himself. I mean, we had been used to, in the past, to Rigobert Song, who was a local, but now with an expatriate, there will be a lot of expectations from him. And the recent altercation with the president of the federation has not brought him enough sympathy which he could be accepted by the Indomitable Lion fans. The only thing which could make him be accepted is if he wins both matches and gets us the 6 points. So in terms of preparation, I think he has to get the players early in camp. Fekafoot is suggesting that they get to the Mundi complex where there is that calm, they can train, and they will be able to be concentrated for these upcoming encounters. So for the coach to succeed, there is one, he has to be accepted not only by the players, work hand in hand with the federation, with the other members of the coaching staff, but the fans should come out on the 8th of June to support the team. I mean, we are all Cameroonians, and I think that putting emotions and sentiments out of the way, let us all support the national team, because the green, red, yellow is a flag that we all share, and we want our country to succeed. For the players, I think they are professionals. They will do well to accept the new man. The bonding exercises would not be that easy. The adherence to the coach tactics instructions is not going to be that easy, but I think we have to keep one objective in mind. How do we get the 6 points? How do we qualify for a historic World Cup? USA, Canada, Mexico. That should be the prime objective of not only the players, of not only the federation, of not only the ministry, which is the face of the government, but also by the more than 25 to 30 million Cameroonian population anxiously waiting for another representation at the World Cup. Notre joie et notre vie, à toi l'amour et le grand honneur.
All right, in the place of interviews of the week, we spoke to a politician who talks about the massive registration exercise, the massive registration momentum ahead of the 2025 elections in Cameroon. Shewa David is the founder of Democratic Liberation, a political party, a party that he founded after resigning from the Social Democratic Front. He talks about the massive registration exercise, calling on Cameroonians to register massively and vote when the time comes. Take this.
We all have been crying of poverty, embezzlements of state funds, mismanagement and misappropriation of public funds, corruption, selfishness, vandalism, the lack of will to ameliorate the living standards of Cameroonians, the lack of will to resolve other political crises in all the angles of the territory of Cameroon, increment in taxes that is found. However, the poor suffer the effects more than the rich. This can only be done through the ballot box, because violence can never bring any development or a change in any society. That's why I'm calling on us, the Cameroonians, to sacrifice only 2 days. 2 days that we can term as a fasting day. Day 1 should be go and sacrifice and register yourself with Electoral. And day 2, when the day of polls comes, go there and exercise your civil rights, and together we shall secure our votes. And we don't think that anything that used to happen shall happen. We all know that in many countries where there are violence, or in societies where there are violence gives opportunities to other people to take over the power. So let us not create violence. Let us go with peace. Through peace and love, unity, we shall make the victory.
Right, you're welcome back. You were listening there to Shewa David, founder of Democratic Liberation Party. Coming back to us, John Dennis, first about the massive registration exercise. It's been going on, but for some time now, very little is being said about it because of the fake Afud issue that came up and was almost drowning the momentum around the registration exercise.
Yeah, I think it is a good thing that we have come back to our normal routine work, which has to do with voters registration. The Popular Action Party, the PAP, has been very, very active in the terrain. Since about 3 years ago, we have been very, very active. We already have our team coordinators. We have those in, there's a coordinator in Tombel, Boya, Muyuka, here in Yaoundé. We have Yaoundé 5, Yaoundé 6, Yaoundé 1, I think Yaoundé 4. In Douala, we have a coordinator in Bonaberi. So it is a wonderful gesture. We have also our partners that are partnering with us to really encourage this voters registration. It is high time that Cameroonians know that the destiny lies in their hands. There is nothing like my vote wouldn't count. We shouldn't put that at the back of our mind. For those who really want genuine change, this is the time to decide the future of our nation. It is true that the rigging will always be there. Electoral is not really that credible. The Constitutional Council is there where people are discouraged. But I think if Cameroonians decide and want that change will occur today, tomorrow, 2025, it's all left on the hands of Cameroonians. On the contrary, those who have been discouraged that I don't want to take part in elections, I don't want to register because the results are already known at hand and CPDM will rig. That is the song that CPDM wants to hear, and it's working for their advantage. You even realize that there came a time where the level of the massive registration even threatened the regime, where even the minister and some pro-mayor, CPDM mayors, we saw their actions depriving even the Elecam and voters not to using words that would discourage them. So I really want to encourage Cameroonians that 31st of August is the last day, irrespective of the bad electoral system we have. We should first of all have our voters card to take part in the election. Then the rest can continue. So PAP is in the terrain. I think they should go to the nearest Elecam office and get themselves registered. If you have not yet done that, go immediately and have yours.
That is why civil society leader, opinion leader, political analyst Aristide Mono is piloting this movement. Inscrivons-nous d'abord. Let us register first, and we'll know what will happen next. That is what he's saying. Now, how is the CPDM perceiving this massive movement around the registration exercise?
I think it's a very good thing. You know, we are in a democratic country, and only your vote count if you need a change. And you know, I just want to rectify something when Mr. Jean Dennis was talking about a threat. I think
a threat.
A threat. I think if there is a party that is doing mobilization and even sensitization of the population to go and register, is CBTM. But it's just that there are some party who want to use, I don't know, who want to use it maybe to showcase, where you see a political party inside wearing their JC inside a shop, or knocking at some people's doors. I think we saw Cameroon Tribune there. The law is there and the law should be respected. In each communal section, you have a commission which is well composed, and as law indicate, our electoral code indicate, we have a commission that each party is to have to associate to work with. Not like every party will go as an individual to maybe to knock on somebody's door. That's just what they wanted, that the law. Because you imagine, we have more than 360 parties, and if all the parties are on the field doing that, It is a disorder.
Will it not be a good thing for all Cameroonians of voting age to register?
No, you have to know something, that registration is not an obligation. It is a right, but not an obligation. So you should not force a Cameroonian to go and register. And there is one thing, I think I make a research and I discovered that in France, people register but they don't vote. That's why in 2015 there was a proposition of law in the Senate where they were saying that the registration should be obligatory, and but the question come and pose that even if the registration is obligatory, but when will you be with the person who will be inside his ballot box, because he is the one to decide either to vote or not to vote. So I think massive registration is good, but the registration should be oriented. The registration, I think those who are registered, we have to teach them to know the importance of the vote, and that is what we have been doing in the CBTM on daily basis. The most important thing is not.
Are you afraid of the wind of change that is blowing across Africa, and that is said to be at the origin of the massive movement towards the registration exercise that we are seeing in Cameroon?
I think I heard
I'm not talking about
this.
you. I mean the CPDM.
No, I heard about this.
The wind of change.
No, I heard about this issue of change.
Jan Dennis and the others are very much determined to kick President Paul Biya out of the Unity Palace.
No, that is not a project. That's not a project to propose to Cameroonian, because His Excellency President Paul Biya is a president of a party, and as the place of a president is one, and it is made up for one person, not for many people. So if you make your project to face one person, and when you kick him out, what next? Because I think Cameroonians are looking for us, and they are not too dull to think that if your project is just to kick away His Excellency President Paul Biya, it means, I think
that's the beginning of the change.
Beginning of the change. You can say that.
If you were to advise the President of the Republic today, will you ask him to stand again as candidate?
Which question? I think we are waiting for the opposition to propose their
No, I'm talking about the candidate of the CPDM.
When I say we are waiting for the opposition to propose,
you know that President Paul Biya is a natural candidate.
That we have our leader already, and the choice we don't have any other choice than His Excellency President Paul Biya, who is there. So when you are asking me, we have been waiting to see the opposition to propose their own leaders, but we are not seeing. We
saw a young person coming to power, 44-year-old Diomaye Faye in Senegal. Don't you aspire to become? As a young people, as a young person, the president has been saying that young persons should dare, they should be daring, they should be innovative, they should think about, why not becoming the president of the republic, or taking over from him?
You know, a young person coming to a power does not mean a change. A change of a mandate is a change. Even if the same person continue the new mandate, he is not on his old mandate. And I think His Excellency President Paul Biya is the one we have chosen, and I believe that he is listening to me. Age does not matter, but what matters is the way we have to manage and the wisdom. Because managing a country like Cameroon, we need wisdom. We need wisdom. We need experience. And I think he's somebody who has the experience, and he has been doing. And today, I think we are happy to have him as our national president.
All right, Jan Dennis, before we go, the PAP is going to be organizing its first convention. What are the stakes of that convention?
Well, the Council of the Wise and the National Council decided to work together to see how we should come out with organize a convention. The purpose of the convention is to re-engage our militants, bring back the past glory of the PAP, because For some time now, as a result of the Anglophone crisis, most of our militants, sympathizers were really targeted. They were victimized, and some of them find themselves on exile, and it really paralyzed the activities of the party since 2016-17, and we even saw the illegal detention of our former chairman, Justice Ayapol, where he was released 8 months release, and with no charges. So many of those militants were really discouraged, and since 2019 I've been at the helm of that party. One of my objectives is to see how we restructure the party, bring back the lost glory of the party, engage our militants on how we could foster the advancement of the party, and prepare their mind that in 2025 PAP is coming stronger and stronger, and we are going to be very, very active in the 2025 election.
Will you be standing as candidate for the presidency in 2025?
Oh, well, it is the decision that will be the decision taken by. There is no constitution in the party that says the president is an automatic candidate. We are not we don't have a natural candidate in our party. So, as a president, those who vie for the position of representing the party in the next elections, there are criteria that are put in place. If I put in place my own candidacy, and it happens that the council members mandate me to stand and be the flag bearer of the party, then so be it. But if somebody else, but we have to follow the constitutional disposition. Yes, I will be also vying for that position to be as the representation or the flag bearer of the party in 2025. Likewise, others who are also vying in that same position. So it is in that light that it will take place in Boya in the parliamentarian flat on the 21st and 22nd, which we are going to see how of June next month. So we are calling on all Cameroonians, sympathizers of the PAP, that let's come and see how through the PAP we could make a better Cameroon and bring the expected change that most Cameroonians have been vying for. And I believe that with the enthusiasm and the spirit of action now that PAP embodies, will go a long way to respond to the worries of all Cameroonians, irrespective of sex, age, religion, or even party lineage.
All right, John Dennis, National President of the Popular Action Party, thank you so much.
Thank you very
for
much.
Your time.
Thank you.
Right, Full Godfred, communicator of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM political party, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today's edition of The Inside. Thank you for your kind attention. You can follow the program on our social media handles on Facebook, on YouTube, and you can also follow the rebroadcast of the program on Friday at 5 p.m. Goodbye.